Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to an episode of Change Starts with Us, Ohio. Tonight, this afternoon, we're with Stanley again from Chillicothe. Stanley, how do you pronounce your last name?
It's Jaloweic.
Okay.
Jaloweic.
Okay, and you're sitting on death row from what county?
Lorain County.
That's what I thought. Why don't we start off so people can get a little bit of background? Why don't you just share a little bit of a background in a nutshell, from the time of your arrest to the indictment, and we'll start there.
Okay, well, it started long before the indictment. Back in June of 1993, a police informant purchased drugs from two local drug dealers. They're father and son. And when this guy purchased drugs from the father and son, they ended up arresting the father and son in August of 93. 3 days later, after the younger brother was arrested, the older brother, Michael, contacted the detectives on 8/17/93, and
this call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
He claimed that his brother was not the individual that sold the drugs to the informant, but he is the one that sold the drugs to the informant. In other words, he was trying to take the fall for the original drug trafficking charges that were placed against his brother. And when the detective did not believe him, Michael Smith got angry and implied that he might do something. Now, I had no idea about this stuff at the time of my trial, but on the day of Danny Smith's trial for the drug trafficking charges, the man was killed. The police informant was killed. Now, I don't know anything about the murder. I had nothing to do with it. I was not involved in any way or on any level. Had I known that something was going to happen, I would have did what I could to stop it. That's not me. That's not who I am. But anyways, the body was not identified until February 10th of 94. A couple months after, a month or so after he was killed. And now, when the body was identified, Lorain County came in to the picture because the man was killed, I guess, in Cuyahoga County. And when the Cleveland Police Department contacted the Elyria Police Department, they got involved and they started investigating. Now, when I made a statement on March 3rd to the police, I didn't know that my statement was being recorded. I went down there voluntarily. I answered all of their questions. They asked me where I was at. I told them where I was at. I told them I was with my brother. I told them I was with my mom. I was at my brother's house. I stayed there that night. But that tape recording is missing. I don't have a copy of that. But I have notes from the interview. And so that's how I can verify that, look, I told them where I was at on this night, So, Danny Smith.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Danny Smith ends up being charged with 6 counts of drug trafficking after the murder. And once he got charged with 6 counts of drug trafficking charges, after the original drug trafficking charges were dismissed, his father comes into the picture to try and help his son get out of the charges. And I don't know who was involved in this murder. I don't know if Michael Smith, Raymond Smith, and Danny Smith did it. I don't know if Michael Smith, Raymond Smith, or if it was just Michael and Danny or whoever. I don't know anything. I cannot say anything about anybody because I don't know. I wasn't there. I have no idea who did what. But Raymond Smith, in the police statement, tells him that he was with the victim. He went out to Cleveland, and there was a scuffle in the cemetery, and the guy was killed. Now, when they asked him if I was involved in this, he told them no. He said, no, Stan Jaloweic wasn't involved. He doesn't know anything about it. I wouldn't be here today if my son wasn't jammed up. So clearly he's trying to help his son. Now, if Michael Smith was involved, and I believe that there's a possibility he was, he's not going to tell on his son, neither one of them, you know. So he has to protect somebody. So later on in January of 95, the police, after they have gathered a bunch of witnesses that are willing to make deals and lie, they get him on the phone and say, well, look, we need a name of somebody. And what he was doing was he was trying to buy time on the streets. And he says, okay, it's Stan. And what he was saying was that he was using me as an scapegoat, knowing if they come to me, I can't say nothing because I don't know nothing. But all along, he was protecting his oldest son, Michael. Now, the father's goal is to protect both of his sons. Now, once we were indicted in March of 95, 1 month later, Michael Smith comes into the picture and gives a statement to the police. And in this statement to the police, he goes in about he goes and talks about what he heard and you know, this and that. And then what the detective did, he said, okay, well, hold on, stop. Let's talk a minute. I'm not going to charge you. It's not my intention to charge you, but if you know something, you have to tell me what you know. And so what he does is he slams his hand in a dramatic fashion onto the table, and he said he witnessed the stuff. So then after he started saying that he's witnessed the stuff, then he went into this elaborate story about how it was me, him, and his father. His father got out of the car, shot him, and then turned around and he said that he heard bumping up against the car, and he said that I got out of the car to help him. Now, what logical person is going to stay in the car if their father is needing help from somebody and there's a gun involved? You're going to get out and help your father. He claims that he stayed in the car. What I believe happened was, I believe that the three of them, Danny, Raymond, and Michael, did this, and to remove Danny from the picture, they implicate me. And again, I don't know. I can only speculate based on the facts and based on the evidence that I have.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Michael's whole goal is now to protect his brother, you know, his younger brother. And that's what happened. Danny Smith was acquitted. Raymond Smith is no longer on death row because Dad takes care of himself. And Michael Smith was never charged. You know, they claim that they never made a deal with him, but whenever the trials came up, the brother did not testify against his father. You know, and again, my attorneys were part of an elaborate scheme with a state witness to get this witness to implicate me by making a deal for him on a 5-year to 15-year sentence that he had. He got cut loose on 9 months shock probation, and he testified against me. Now, at the time of his statement, he was living with Danny Smith. So at the time of the incident, he was living with Danny Smith. But at my trial, he claims that whenever Danny Smith allegedly admitted to him that they did it, he got sick and he left, never to return to the apartment. But at my trial, but in my notes that I have now from the police department, when he made a statement in February, he was still living with Danny Smith. So his story doesn't add up. And so they went from witness to witness and got each one of them to change their statement to coincide. But when it comes to me, when it involves me, every witness that testifies has me in 3 or 4 different places because I wasn't there, I wasn't involved. And there, something has to be done to expose the corruption and injustice, not just in my case, but within the department itself. I had a veteran police officer come forward. He was an 18-year veteran of the Elyria Police Department. Come forward and express that he believed in my innocence because the theories don't add up that Lyby had. And when Lyby did not, when he was confronted, Lyby went ballistic because Lyby wanted it to be his way, And so this battle has been 26 years now, But a lot of this stuff that I have, I didn't know anything about it until 20 years after my conviction, And I don't want anybody to believe me because I say I'm innocent. I want people to believe me because I can show them using the documents that I have. I have a police recording of the detective speaking to a witness, and he is telling this witness that, look, I've already had charges dropped. Gone, disappear. So if you basically tell me what I want to know, I'll help you. I'll remove your charges. And he's like, look, I don't know anything, so I can't tell you nothing. And then what he tells the guy is he says, okay, well, I'm going to go to the judge and I'm going to give you.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
I'm going to give you 4 years for 2 counts of drug trafficking charges because you won't tell me. And he's like, you mean to tell me you're going to go because I won't talk to you. You're going to go to my judge. He said, yes, I'm going to go to your judge. I've already had it done. Danny Smith got 12 years for 6 counts of aggravated trafficking because he went to the trial court judge and got her to sentence him. Now, that sentence was reversed because on post-conviction because they challenged it, but he was still convicted of bribery. He attempted to bribe some of the witnesses in the Lorain County Jail, and they tried to.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Every time they tried to put somebody in my cell with a tape recording, they put Danny Smith in my cell with a tape recording and couldn't get nothing because I don't know nothing. I'm innocent.
Hey, should we continue tomorrow about the same 10 in the morning?
Absolutely. Tomorrow at 3, I'll give you a call and we'll do another one if you're interested.
Okay, as long as nothing comes up, say 3 o'clock to my brother.
All right, I appreciate your time. Thank you, and thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good day.
You too. That is Stanley. I can't pronounce his last name, folks. We are also in need of several different things. One is suggestions for housing for sex offenders. If you know of a place in the Columbus area or surrounding area of Columbus, Ohio, that is under $500 per month, please let us know at 380-799-3868. We also could use a donation of stamps or any office supplies, copy paper, ink, anything that you would use in an office. But again, if you know if you are in the Columbus area, you know any housing for sex offenders and other resources, please forward it to Change Starts With Us Ohio at gmail.com. Thank you, everybody. We will be back tomorrow sometime.